I cannot believe we didn't know this about Strife of the 8 KvK. Hello everyone, Dragothien here. Welcome back to another Rise of Kingdoms video. Today we've got some news, but is it really news? Let's talk about something we just found out today officially from the developers. It's been around a little bit. I'm not sure if everybody's gotten to see it. Hopefully you know now after this video what I'm talking about. Right now we're staring at a season something, right? Strife of the 8, KvK, Kingsland already flagged up. Nothing out of the usual, right? Everybody's nice and touching the zig. You know, not everybody. You know, some people didn't get a chance to make it, right? Like this kingdom here. They didn't get a chance to make it to the zig, but everything is normal, right? Like we see in the middle here, we've got multiple flags going to the zig. Everything's connected. They've taken the zig. They're getting all the buffs from it. Everything's good and right with the world, right? Well, guess what? Here is a different KvK, still Strife of the 8. Forts inside of Kingsland. We dropped the ball. How did we not know that you could place forts inside of Kingsland in Strife of the 8? Let's go take a peek at the developer's response to what we saw today. Thank you for contacting for Strife for Season of Conquest KvK. It's allowed to build fortresses in Kingsland of Strife of the 8, but it's not allowed to build in Kingsland of HA and March of the Ages. So there we go. Confirmation that this is not broken. This is not a glitch. If you have Strife of the 8 coming up and you haven't figured it out yet, this can happen now. So we have forts in Kingsland. Make sure you update your strategies. Heroic Anthem just made us assume that Strife of the 8, you couldn't place forts in the middle of Kingsland. Well, guess what? Forts in Kingsland are back. I don't know if this is going to make me want to play Strife of the 8 or not. I don't know if I want 8 camps to be able to place forts inside of Kingsland. How is this possible? This KvK, right? So the KvK I showed you earlier. Let's go to the very bottom here. This KvK has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 kingdoms. How did nobody test this? I personally have not done a Strife of the 8 KvK, so I'm blameless in all this, okay? The only Strife of the 8 KvK that I've done so far is the 1 in 75 with my 40 million account, and God knows I'm not part of the strategy. So this is crazy. This is crazy. This is game changing. I mean, you have all the other the Strife of the 8 KvKs that have happened completely fortless in Kingsland. How was nobody tested this? I guess it's easy to assume, right? Heroic Anthem completely blocked. Why would you even try? Don't make a strategy on something that you know doesn't work, right? Well, it works. It works now. I mean, it's always worked, evidently. It's always worked, and now that changes the entire landscape of Strife of the 8. Here's my question. So the reason I thought, you know, that Kingsland wasn't allowed to have forts like this, right, is because really everybody should be able to get to Kingsland and Heroic Anthem. So unless you really are overmatched and it's just a really poor matchmaking, every camp should be able to make it. Now, Strife of the 8's different because you have the ability to get locked in like some other kingdoms, right? Like you've got, let's see. Is there any kingdom here that's like truly, well and truly locked in? Maybe this one. This one looks like it might be well and truly locked in there. So there's a couple camps that can get locked in before Kingsland is available to be, you know, gotten into, right? So maybe they're like, okay, well, maybe some of these things are going to be blocked, and we'll go ahead and unlock forts inside of Kingsland. Because what happens whenever you go over and say the first example that I showed you, right? What happens when you go over here and you look at how many kingdoms are involved? And I meant to show you this. 21 kingdoms in one Strife of the 8 KvK. How are you supposed to, what if that happened, right? Where all 21 kingdoms made it to the middle. Can you imagine the absolute craziness of all the forts being dropped from 21 kingdoms inside of Kingsland in a single Strife of the 8 KvK? That would be incredible to see. Now, obviously, again, this one only has 10 kingdoms, but again, 10 kingdoms worth of maybe 3, 4, 5 alliances that could place forts. And if you're in kingdoms that are huge, like say a 254 or a 307 or a 556 or an 846 or all those other ones, right? You could have 10. You could have 10 forts just from fighting alliances, not even to mention the other 5, 6, 7 forts that could be from other farm alliance accounts or support war alliance accounts or whatever, right? We saw what happened in the 8 Imperium KvK, where Kingdom 93 was able to hold off 254 with an absolute massive wall of forts, right? Well, what are you going to do in Kingsland whenever that happens? Oh my god. Can you imagine what's going to happen in these KvKs? So now that the secret is out, okay, and we have that very 8 Imperium KvK still yet to go into Kingsland, I can't wait. I can't wait to see all the forts dropped inside of that Kingsland. It's going to be incredible. Holy crap. So let's wait and see how this plays out. But does this, in your opinion, and I want you to throw your comment in the comment section below after you hit that like button, people. Throw your comment in the comment section below. Tell me what you think. Is it going to break Strife of the 8? Because right now, I personally think that Strife of the 8 is a little subpar to Heroic Anthem. I like Heroic Anthem more because of the support skills and because of the way the map is structured. Personally, just me personally, it's not saying it's better or worse. That's just the way I like to do it. I certainly like the original maps just as much, if not even better. But does this really affect heavily Strife of the 8 KvK going forward? And what do you expect to see in the 8 Imperium KvK when they get into the middle? Because at least 4 or 5 camps are going to make it to the middle, maybe even 6. So let's see how this plays out. I'm curious to see what you guys think. And when I saw this, when I heard this, I was shocked. I was shocked. I was totally shocked. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Hopefully you have learned something today like I have. See you guys next time. Cheers. Have a good one. And take care. In this Strife of the 8 KvK, can you imagine 21 kingdoms worth of forts inside this itty bitty Kingsland? Is that even a thing? Like, how are we supposed to do anything with this? I don't know. But now that the secret's out, now that the the worst kept secret ever, considering that nobody really has done it. I'm sure there's some out there that have. Maybe they just didn't have the right exposure, but 960 placed forts inside their KvK today, and yeah, or last night, I guess. And yeah, people were kind of freaking out. Why are you able to place forts inside of Kingsland? Well, turns out it's actually been part of the rules the whole time. You can go ahead and place forts inside of Kingsland and be perfectly fine.